Truly knowledge of the hour is with Allah, and it is He who sends down rain, and it is He who knows hat is in the wombs. And no self knows what it will eat tomorrow, and no self knows in what land it will die. Truly, Allah is all-knowing, aware. Quran Surah Luqman 31.34, it was related by Muslim. Many of the signs of the end of the world are clearly indicated in the hadith collections, and whoever is awake and aware of the signs in the self and on the horizon knows about these signs and recognizes them when they appear. Virtually all the signs of the end of the world are now apparent, except for the last four major signs, and it would appear that even cheese are now imminent. Amongst the signs already apparent are that the poor and the destitute build tall buildings in which people glorify themselves, that the slave girl gives birth to her mistress. One meaning which is that a mother who is enslaved by her work situation has children who grow up to be uncontrollable and who dominate and tyrannize the family situation. That women greatly outnumber men. That there are many women who no longer give birth to children. That everyone is consumed with working, so that not only the men, but also the women go out to work. That family deaths are neglected or abandoned. There is an abundance of food, much of which has no blessing. When a person is offered food, it is refused. That demi is short. That there are many people who are hard-hearted and mean. That there are many people who bear false witness. That the youthful are disbelieved, and the liars are believed. That the strong devour the weak. That few are wise, and many are ignorant. That the leader of a people is worst of them. That a people fear a tyrant so much that they dare not even rel him that he is a tyrant. That there is much fighting and killing of people. That the ones who do the killing do not know who is being killed, and that the ones who are killed do not know why they have been killed. That there are people who behave like animals. That there are women who wear their clothes like a second skin, so that they appear naked even though they are clothed. That many people drink alcohol. That adultery and fornication are common. That men lie with men, and women with women. That men wear silk. That female singers and musical instruments are popular. That usury is so widespread that even those who are not directly involved in it are affected by it. That there are few people who are trustworthy in their business transactions. That people distrust those who are honest and trust those who are dishonest. That writing is widespread. That attempts are made to make the deserts green. That there are people who attempt to change the balance of nature, and who interfere with and interrupt the basic cycles and processes of existence. That earthquakes and other natural disasters increase in frequency and intensity. That people wish they were out of this world and in their graves. That people believe in the stars rather than trusting in God. That there are many false prophets, each claiming to be a messenger of God. That voices are raised in anger in places of worship. That many of the Muslims become extremely wealthy. That the Muslims are numerous but powerless because of their love for this world and their fear of death, and unable to stop the nations of the world from invading and plundering them. And finally, that the sun rises in the west. One meaning of which is that the life transaction of Islam is adopted by people living in the Western world. Although it is clear from the hadith collections that this is also an event which is destined to literally take place. From Abdullah ibn Amr, may Allah be pleased with him, the Prophet Muhammad, may Allah bless him and grant him peace, said, "The first of the signs of the hour to appear will be the rising of the sun from the west, and the appearance of beast. Before the people in the forenoon, whichever of these two events happens first, the other will follow immediately." It was related by Muslim. Commenting on this hadith, Ibn Kathir states the emergence of the beast, either in or near Makkah, will be the first of the earthly signs, just as the rising of the sun from the west will be the first of the heavenly signs. In summarizing what the Quran and the hadith say about the beast, Ibn Kathir states in his book Al-Bidayah one Mayab, meaning the beginning and the ending, as follows. Among the signs of the hour will be the emergence of a beast from the earth. It will be very strange in appearance, and extremely huge. One cannot even imagine what I will look like. It will emerge from the earth and shake the dust from its head. It will have with it the ring of Solomon and the rod of Moses. People will be terrified of it and will try to run away, but they will not be able to escape, because such will be the decree of Allah. It will destroy the nose of every unbeliever with the rod, and write the word kafir on his forehead. It will atom the face of every believer, and write the word mu'min his forehead, and it will speak to people, as well as the rising of the sun from the west and the emergence of the beast from the earth. The hadith also refer other major signs which have yet to take place, including the smoke which will drive people from the east to the west, the destruction of Medina al-Munawwara, the destruction of the Kaaba in Makkah by an Abyssinian called Dhul Swaikakain, and 3 major landslides, one in the east, one in the west, and one in Arabia, at the end of which fire will burst forth from the direction of Aden in the Yemen, and drive people to the place of their final assembly. According to most of the commentators, these events will probably take place after the last 4 major signs of the end of the world have occurred, and these are: the appearance of Dajjal the individual, the appearance of the Mahdi, the righty-guided leader of the Muslims who will fight the Dajjal, the reappearance of the Prophet Jesus, on him be peace, who, as well as breaking all the crosses, killing all the pigs, marrying and having children and praying with the Muslims, will also kill the Dajjal, and the appearance of Yajuj wa Majuj, or Gog and Magog, a tribe of people who will scatter across the world, creating destruction. There are 3 aspects of the Dajjal. There is Dajjal the individual. There is Dajjal as a worldwide social and cultural phenomenon. There is Dajjal as an unseen force. It is clear that before Dajjal the individual appears on earth, there must already be present and established the system, and the people running that system, which and who will support and follow him when he does appear. Evidence of that system, and the people running that system, is evidence of Dajjal as a worldwide social and cultural phenomenon, and Dajjal as an unseen force. The signs of these broader aspects of Dajjal, that is, what Dajjal the individual will epitomize, are very apparent today, which would indicate that Dajjal the individual is soon to appear. Amongst the descriptions of the Dajjal in the Hadith collections we find the following: Dajjal has one eye, like a floating grape. Dajjal can be heard all over the world at the same time. Dajjal will show you fire, but it will not burn you. Dajjal will show you water, but you will not be able to drink it. Dajjal will talk of the garden, and make it seem like the fire. Dajjal will talk of the fire, and make it seem like the garden. These descriptions all fit the characteristics of today's media systems and communications technology, and especially the manner in which they are largely used. The Dajjal is also described in the Hadith as having many eyes on both sides, and traveling about the world in large hops. This description fits the characteristics of today's means of mass transport. Dajjal is also described as having the letters kafar written on the forehead. Some of the jets in the Israeli Air Force have these letters painted on their noses. The letters kafar are the basic root letters of the Arabic word kufr, or kafir. Kufr is to cover up and to reject. The kafir is the one who covers up the true nature of existence, that is, that there is no God, only Allah, and who rejects the messengers who are sent by Allah to show people how to live in harmony with what is within them and with what is without them, and to worship and have knowledge of Allah. When the Prophet Muhammad, may the blessings and peace of Allah be on him, said that you should seek knowledge as far as China, he was talking about knowledge of Allah, or at the very least, knowledge which leads to knowledge of Allah. If your knowledge does not come from fear of Allah, you have been deceived. Fear Allah, and Allah will give you knowledge. The kafir, courts this. The kafir is thus diametrically opposed to the mu'min. The mu'min is the Muslim who openly affirms the true nature of existence, and who accepts and follows the example and teachings of the Prophet Muhammad. May the blessings and peace of Allah be on him, the last of the prophets to have been sent by Allah before the end of the world. It should already be clear that the kafir system, and the Kafirun who control and believe in Tlat system, are none other than the manifestation of Dajjal as a worldwide social and cultural phenomenon, and Dajjal as an unseen force. Dajjal the individual will be the epitome of the kafir system, the ultimate kafir, and therefore inevitably to be chosen as the leader of that system by the Kafirun who are running that sisirk when he appears. The Prophet Muhammad said that kufr is one system. The kafir system is Dajjal. The three aspects of Dajjal are in fact interlinked and indivisible. Dajjal, in the same way the Mahdi will be, when he appears, the epitome of Islam, the way of Prophet Muhammad. Although it must be said immediately that he will be like a drop compared to the ocean of the Prophet Muhammad, may the blessings and peace of Allah be on him. It follows that the Mahdi will be the one who is inevitably recognized and accepted by all true Muslims as their leader. The Prophet Muhammad said that the Muslims are one body. Kufr is at war with Islam. Islam is at war with Kufr. K is clear from the hadith that the Dajjal will fight the Mahdi. The Mahdi will fight the Dajjal. The Prophet Jesus, who was not crucified, but taken by Allah out of this world into the unseen, and another who looked like him, crucified in his place. The Prophet Jesus, on him be peace, having returned to this world, will kill the Dajjal together with all his followers. The Dajjal has been the subject of much writing in the past. Prophecies relating to the Dajjal are to be found, for example, in the Bible, in the Book of Revelation by John, and in the writings of Nostradamus. Many people have repeatedly attempted to interpret these prophecies anew in the light of events taking place during their own particular lifetimes. The Dajjal is usually referred to as the Antichristine, these prophecies, and the commentaries on them, as also more recently, in the loose interpretations which have been placed on them in various films and videos. It is not known how reliable or accurate either these prophecies, or the commentaries on them, or the later interpretations of them, are. It is quite probable that at least some of them came by way of the jinn. The jinn are made of smokeless fire. They can see us. Only some of us can see them. Human beings are made of water and clay. Angels are made of pure light. They are incapable of wrong action. They do not eat or sleep or procreate. They praise Allah continuously. They are the means by which the creational process operates. The jinn, like us, are capable of right action and wrong action. Some of them are Muslim, some are kafir, and some are munafiq, that is, hypocrites who say they are Muslim, when in truth, they are kafir. The jinn often communicate with people, and from their knowledge of the unseen, tell of events which lie in the future. Why are often used by magicians and fortune tellers. Clearly, if the writings of John and Nostradamus came by way of, or were influenced by, bad or mischievous jinn, then they are not entirely reliable, since, as is the case with many of the jinn, who are the familiars of those who practice magic, or who communicate with mediums, for every truth that is told, several half-truths and white lies are also added. Given this element of possible uncertainty and error, the only way that the prophecies of John and Nostradamus can be shown to be reliable is when what has been said corresponds to what eventually happens. As far as the written word is conceived, therefore, the hadith contain the most reliable descriptions of the Dajjal and of the events which are to take place both before and after the appearance of the Dajjal wherever, that is, there is a reliable isnad, that is, a reliable chain of transmission from the one who heard or saw hat was actually said or done by the Prophet Muhammad himself, to the ones who remembered by heart what that person remembered by heart, to the one who recorded what they remembered in writing. The hadith which were recorded in writing were only accepted after both their contents and their isnads had been scrupulously checked and authenticated by the scholars who collected them. Unlike today's versions of the Bible, all of whose contents are incapable of being authenticated in this manner, and much of which may therefore originate from unreliable sources and cannot definitely be attributed to the Prophet whose words and actions the Bible purports to record. Allah says in the Quran, which, being a direct revelation from God to Muhammad via the angel Jibril, which was both memorized by heart and recorded in writing as it was revealed, is even more reliable than the fully authenticated hadith. Allah says in the Quran that the Jews and the Christians have changed and adhered the original reaching of their respective prophets, peace be on them, and numerous contradictions and discrepancies which now exist within the Bible bear eloquent witness to this faker. The Prophet Muhammad did say, however, may the blessings and peace of Allah be on him, that knowledge is the lost property of the mu'min, who may pick it up wherever he or she finds it. The mu'min is the Muslim who not only believes in Allah, but who also actually trusts in Allah in the course of his or her everyday affairs. The Muslim may believe in Allah whilst still relying on his or her own tie-ins. The mu'min relies on Allah for success. The muhsin is the Muslim, who knows that there is only Allah, and accordingly reliance on other than Allah is an impossibility. The Muslim, the mu'min, and the muhsin are all Muslims, but they possess different degrees of knowledge of Allah. Those who fear Allah the most are the ones who have the greatest knowledge of Allah, because such fear only comes with such knowledge. The Prophet Muhammad said that no other being feared Allah as much as he. Knowledge comes to the one who purifies the heart, by the grace of Allah. As the heart becomes clear and calm, the knowledge of the heart increases. This knowledge begins where the written word ends, for those whose hearts are purified, so that the signs in the self and on the horizon, and they are the same, are recognized and understood. The signs of Dajjal as a worldwide social and cultural phenomenon, and Dajjal as an unseen force, are plain to see. And what they experience is a confirmation and amplification of the information which the written word contains. The mu'min is the Muslim who trusts in Allah. Part of this trust is to trust others, and to trust oneself, and one's experience of life, and one's interpretation of signs in the self and on the horizon. This trust is complete when the person knows his or herself, for whoever knows their self knows their Lord, and whoever knows their Lord knows what comes from their Lord, which is creation, the universe and everything in it, and no form, tangible or intangible, actual or conceptual, can be associated with Allah. Whoever has this trust and this knowledge is muhsin. Reading is not the same as seeing. The seeing is a much stronger confirmation of what has been read. Books can only remind you of what has already been tasted, and of what is yet to be tasted, or of what is capable of being rasted. It is the tasting which is important, not the record of the tasting, whether that record be audio or visual, or on paper or plastic, or on metal or celluloid. To see is to know, but there are different seeings and different knowings. Considering Dajjal as an unseen force, the presence of this force is indicated by the arrival of beings from another world, who take possession of human beings in the same way as the jinn sometimes possess humans and animals. It may well be that Dajjal as an unseen force can, like the jinn, actually manifest as humans and animals without actually having to possess them. That is, by taking on their likeness, rather than by taking them over. It may well be that Dajjal as an unseen force is none other than a horde of kafir jinn, as opposed to being beings of some other kind. It is not known from which world they come. It is known that there are many worlds. Allah is described in the Quran, in Surah Al-Fatiha, as Lord of the worlds. Ibn al-Rabi visited some of these worlds in vision, and describes these experiences in his book, The Maccan Relations. He names vast cities possessing technologies far superior to the ones of which some people on this earth boast today. The sign that this possession has taken place is that you see large numbers or groups of people, all acting as one body, apparently possessing no individual identity. Although they look like human beings, they simply do not behave like human beings, but more like robot. The large numbers of books and films which deal with this phenomenon are not mere figments of the imagination. They point to the reality of what has already occurred and continues to occur, as for example, in the film The Man Who Fell to Earth. Since this aspect of Dajjal as an unseen force is in the unseen, direct knowledge of it is only available to those who have been given access to the unseen.